In the late 15th century, the seas were the highways of empires. Merchant fleets carried spices, gold, and silk across the Mediterranean, while warships hunted pirates and rival powers. It was an age when knowledge of the sea meant power over the world. And in this turbulent era, a young boy was born in the Ottoman port city of Gelibolu. His name was Piri Reis. Growing up among sailors, shipbuilders, and merchants, the smell of salt and timber filled his childhood. But his destiny truly began when he joined the crew of his uncle, the famous Ottoman corsair, Piri Reis. Together, they sailed across the Mediterranean. They fought naval battles against Spanish and Venetian fleets. They raided hostile ports and defended Ottoman waters. For years, Piri Reis lived the life of a sailor and warrior. But unlike most men at sea, he watched the coastlines with a different kind of curiosity. Where others saw land and waves, he saw patterns, distances, coordinates. And slowly, a greater ambition began to grow within him. He didn't just want to sail the world, he wanted to understand it. Years of voyages gave Piri Reis something more valuable than treasure. They gave him knowledge. Every port he visited, every sailor he met, every captured ship added another piece to a growing puzzle. He carefully collected maps, navigation charts, and sailors' notes from across the Mediterranean and beyond. Some were drawn by Arab navigators. Others came from Portuguese explorers, and some, according to his own writings, even came from the voyages of Christopher Columbus. Using these sources, Piri Reis began working on something extraordinary. In 1513, he produced a world map unlike anything seen before. It showed the western coasts of Europe and Africa with remarkable precision. But even more astonishing, it included parts of the newly discovered Americas. At a time when the Old World still struggled to understand the shape of these new lands, Piri Reis had already placed them on his map. It was a masterpiece of early cartography. Yet Piri Reis was not finished. Years later, he created his greatest written work, the famous maritime guide known as Kitab al-Bahriya. This monumental book described the Mediterranean in extraordinary detail, island by island, port by port, harbor by harbor. It contained maps, sailing instructions, and geographic descriptions that helped sailors navigate safely through dangerous waters. For the Ottoman Navy, it became one of the most valuable navigation guides of its time. But even as his reputation grew, the seas remained unforgiving. Naval campaigns continued across the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean as the Ottoman Empire struggled for control against the Portuguese. And Piri Reis, now an experienced admiral, was still at the center of these great maritime conflicts. By the time he reached old age, Piri Reis had spent nearly his entire life at sea. He had fought battles, explored distant waters, and created maps that astonished the world. Yet history is rarely kind to its greatest figures. In the 1550s, after a controversial naval campaign against the Portuguese in the Persian Gulf, political tensions rose within the Ottoman command. Accusations were made, decisions were questioned, and eventually Piri Reis was blamed for abandoning a campaign fleet. In 1554, in the city of Cairo, the legendary admiral was executed. He was over 80 years old. For a time, his story faded into the shadows of history. But centuries later, something remarkable happened. Fragments of his 1513 world map were rediscovered. Historians and cartographers around the world were stunned. The map showed geographical knowledge far ahead of its time. Today, the legacy of Piri Reis stands as a testament to human curiosity and exploration. Long before satellites and modern navigation, an Ottoman admiral dared to draw the world, and in doing so, he secured his place among the greatest cartographers in history. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below who you want next.